So, what do we got going on today? Nintendo has just confirmed the Super Nintendo Classic Edition, and I just wanted to post a quick video. Looks like it should be coming out in September, the end of September, for $79.99. So it's being released September 29th for $79.99. 21 games this time. 2 controllers, though. Freaking ridiculous. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited. So let's go ahead and go through the list of games real quick. This is pretty awesome. I'm happy with this list. Yes, there's less games than the NES Classic, but what the heck? We got Contra 3, Donkey Kong Country, Earthbound, Final Fantasy 3, what? F-Zero, Kirby Superstar, Kirby's Dream Course, Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Mega Man X, Secret of Mana, Star Fox, the unreleased Star Fox 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo Fighting, Super Castlevania IV, what? Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, holy crap, Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Super Punch-Out, and Yoshi's Island. That, man, I don't even know what else to say. That's just awesome. Hopefully this time around, though. Why is... oh, my God. Hopefully, I hope it can be hacked, huh? I don't have the chat up this time, but I was just like, wow, look at all this crazy thing. You know, this crazy stuff that's going on here. 2 controllers this time, though. That's awesome. But hopefully they learned from the NES Classic Mini being released that we would get, you know, a wider supply of these. That's what I'm really hoping for. You know, it's missing Chrono Trigger. That's a shame. That truly is a shame. No Super Mario 3. It's the Super Nintendo. Of course, no Super Mario 3. But if they put Mario All-Stars, that would have been awesome. But unfortunately, that is not on the list of games. But it is definitely an awesome lineup. Awesome that it comes with 2 controllers. I'm not sure on the cable length, but September 29th is when this is being released. Don't know when they're going to be doing pre-orders, but just imagine that the second that they do pre-orders, I don't think they've started yet, but the second that they do pre-orders, it's going to be intense trying to grab this, you know what I mean? So definitely got to keep on the lookout for that. But yeah, Chrono Trigger. I just thought, you know, I didn't want to do this video, you know, this morning. I actually got to be heading out in a few minutes, or you know, not in a few minutes, but within the hour anyway. But when I saw this news, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. I love Nintendo. Love what they got going on. But I'm hoping they learn from their mistakes, which one could argue that it was a mistake the way they handled the NES Classic. Because really, it was, to me, it just seemed like a filler for the holiday season because they didn't have nothing crazy coming out in the holiday season last year to fill that gap of when the Nintendo Switch came out. So, you know, there was a lot of weird stuff with that. But this, I'm just, you know, just looking at this. Yeah, they're charging a little bit more, has less games, but the selection of games are just top notch. Will it be hackable? Most likely. You know, the second something's released, people figure out how to hack it. Is there, somebody asked, Mike asked, think there's a pie in there. I know he's being funny, but you know, the architecture behind it's probably very similar in a sense, but who knows what's exactly in there. But this is going to be pretty awesome. What do you guys think? Is this a must-have, even though we have our, you know, Raspberry Pi systems going? We already have our, you know, NES Classics that were released last year that you could put these games on it anyway. So essentially the insides of this are probably the same as the NES Classic because it was able to handle Super Nintendo games by doing the hack chi thing. I never put anything other than Nintendo game, original NES, but you could put Super Nintendo, so it's probably going to be a very similar architecture to the system that's in there. Who knows? You love your Pi better. Yeah, you know, that's an option. It's always an option to have the Raspberry Pi. I like to support Nintendo. Not everybody does. Not everybody cares. A lot of people love Nintendo's stuff. But with the scene that, you know, a lot of us are involved in with RetroPie, you know, that kind of thing, I still like to support the companies whenever I can. If I can get my hands on the Super Nintendo, I'm going to buy one. 21 games is not a lot of games, but they are, every game on that list was solid. Every game on that list was solid. And then you get Star Fox 2 that was never released. Yeah, we've been able to play that in emulation for a long while. But let's just go look at this list again. Contra 3, Donkey Kong Country 1, Earthbound, Final Fantasy 3, Secret of Mana. It would have been nice to get the English translation of the sequel to Secret of Mana, but hey, can't fight over that. Star Fox and Star Fox 2, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, Super Castlevania IV, one of my all-time favorite old school Castlevanias, Mario RPG, amazing stuff. Super Punch-Out, that's crazy. It's a lot of awesome stuff. But you know, it was all kind of up in the air. You know, it was rumor that this was coming out. Nobody was 100%. Everybody was pretty much saying they're going to release it. Come on now, look at how they smashed it with the NES Classic. They're going to smash it with the Super Nintendo Classic Edition as well. Freaking ridiculous. This thing is just gonna kill it. It's you know, comes out what, September 29th, whereas the NES Classic came out, what was it, November 10th or 11th, something like that. $80, I could get the Retron 77 for that. The Retron 77 though, you know, I'm not paying $80 for the Retron 77. If it played all the Atari stuff, then maybe. Let me guess, there will be a shortage on the first day. Mr. Cannon Fodder, you can guarantee it. I'm willing to bet my NES Classic, the original, I'm willing to bet that there's going to be a shortage first day. You're not going to be able to walk in the store and easily get one. You're going to have to fight somebody's mother to get one. That's how it's going to go. They could quadruple the shipments. It doesn't even matter. People are going to go crazy for this. I think people are going to go more crazy for the Super Nintendo than the NES Classic. That's just my feeling. Ian Hooten, did you read the wiki on Street Fighter II? What people have been playing is nowhere close to the finished product that is on here. No. Mother punching system. But yeah, that's definitely where we're at. I think this is going to be an awesome thing for the holidays, coming out a little earlier than it did. But is an unreleased new SNES game worth $80? Not necessarily. But the whole package, you're paying less than $4 per game that's going to be on this system. Sarah, she's feeling feverish. Think I'll be sick on 9/27. Yeah, I'm getting a little sick myself. I don't think I'm going to feel good that day either. That's funny. People might have to camp out, down the street from me is a Best Buy, but this goes on every year. But the Best Buy down the street from me versus other Best Buys I've been around, it's usually about 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. This lady sets up a tent in front of Best Buy 2 weeks before Black Friday. 2 weeks before. The only one out there until the night before Black Friday. Nobody else lines up until the night before. This lady camps out for 2 weeks. I might have to camp out for 3 weeks to get this Super Nintendo. You guys won't see no videos uploaded from me come September. I got to take the whole month off and camp out in front of Best Buy or GameStop or something. Who knows? Mr. Cannon Fodder, if it can be hacked, I'm down. Guaranteed it's going to be able to be hacked. They might, you know, Nintendo's not stupid. Nintendo probably looked at the NES Classic. They didn't want that thing to be hacked, but people are smart. People figure stuff out. They've hacked every damn system that's been released. Stream from the line. Yeah, I'll do a live stream every day as I get smellier and dirtier, just camped out. Be like, yeah, the stink is pretty bad today, guys. But but Nintendo had to have learned, you know, they probably are doing some kind of, you know, newer security measure to ensure it doesn't get hacked first day. But guaranteed by, you know, a week or two after it's released, that this system is going to be hacked. Guaranteed. You're going to be playing, carrying any, you know, NES games on there. Everything. Smell-O-Vision with MLP. I'll have to send you guys all the little scratch and snips that came with, Earthbound and the player's guide, the little scratch and snips that were in there. But yeah, I don't know about everybody. I'm excited. September 29th. It's not that far away. You know, we got 3 months. 3 months and a couple days. Just ridiculous. I'm excited about it. What's next? The Nintendo 64 Classic Edition? Sarah still has the scratch and sniffs from Earthbound. They all smell the same now. I got rid of my guide years ago. Well, not years and years ago. Maybe a good 8 years ago. I got rid of a lot of my stuff, and you know, I got rid of my Earthbound and Earthbound guide. I had the full box set. Not because of the value that I wish I would have kept it, but just kind of the nostalgia. I wish I would have kept that setup, because yeah, that instruction book or guide was pretty awesome. A little scratch and sniff. It smells like burnt plastic and ass. That's funny. A Nintendo 64. See, if they release a Nintendo 64 Classic Edition next year, 2018, what games would you want to see on that? I think they killed it with the set list for the Super Nintendo Classic Edition. I really feel like they killed that list. Yeah, not going to hit everybody's favorites. We don't have Chrono Trigger on there, but we do got Final Fantasy III, Super Mario RPG, Secret of Mana, Earthbound, you know, for the RPG people. There's a lot of cool stuff. Any Bubsy game. But Nintendo 64, I haven't seen Studmeister. I have not seen any pre-order yet. But I'm sure, because what was it last? Well, they announced the release date, so we all know when it's coming out. So I would imagine that we'll get pre-orders up pretty soon. If I can pre-order one online, I would much prefer that than to wait for a week outside of Best Buy or something. But one of the places that you're gonna want to keep tabs on for pre-orders is gonna be Now in Stock. I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put this right here. That website right there, you might want to take a look at that and jump on that website and keep tabs for when the system goes live for pre-orders. Now in Stock's a good place to keep tabs on when things are out there, keep tabs on the conversations. A lot of people get some info that they share, but definitely check out, you know, there's nothing on there yet. But yeah, if they do a Nintendo 64 Classic, you know, next year or the year after, Mario Kart 64 is a definite must-have. Robert, I totally agree with you on the Raspberry Pi 3, but there's just something about having like an official product from Nintendo or from, you know, a company who does this stuff. There's something special about this. $80, yes, you could buy 2 Raspberry Pis. And, you know, if you had extra micro SD cards lying around, you could have the whole set of games on there. There is something special about having a legit product from Nintendo, in my opinion. Not everybody's going to share the same opinion as me. I bought the NES Classic Edition. I have the Famicom version. the U.S. and European version. I didn't buy any of those to resell them. I bought them because I love Nintendo and I like their products. But like, you know, to have something, you know, this isn't official, but to have something like, you know, of this size, you know, an official product with those awesome games thrown on there will be freaking sweet. They're charging a little extra this time. You're getting a little less in the games, but you're getting 2 controllers. I don't know about you guys, but the Super Nintendo controller has been my all-time favorite controller. You know, it really changed the way we game. You know, Super Nintendo was the first controller with the L and R. Everybody and their mother after that, you know, mimicked that. So, you know, Nintendo's paved the way for a lot of things. Say what you will about them, you know, with the Wii, the Wii U. Nintendo Switch, I think, is pretty awesome. You know, but Nintendo Classic Nintendo is just where it's at. It's really where it's at, in my opinion. So I'm really excited. I can't wait. I really hope it's going to be easy to pre-order this. I hope for all you guys it's going to be easy to pre-order. I don't want to have to go out there and wait in line for a week, maybe 3 weeks. Some of us might have to take an extended vacation. You can pre-order at UK at the game. That's pretty awesome. I don't think they're available like here, like GameStop. I guarantee you it's not going to be on GameStop right now. And if it's on anywhere, it's going to be placeholders guaranteed. No results. Because I remember when they announced the NES Classic, it was after their presentation. They put the pre-orders. You know, the pre-orders were live in a lot of places, but you had to keep tabs on that. But I'm not seeing anything live as of yet. No. Yeah, I haven't. It's not listed live anywhere. You guys in the UK, if you can go pre-order a game, run your ass over there now and pre-order that bad boy. They'll make 200,000 units and discontinue, and then they'll have the Nintendo 64 version next year. I mean, I hope it's not that bad. I know it's going to be bad, though. Nintendo's not going to mass produce this thing. You know, they're not going to make freaking 10 million of these. They're just not going to. But I'm hoping they do ship more than what they did with the NES Classic. The NES Classic, it hit for people who had that nostalgia for Nintendo. You know, those 80s kids and whatnot that are in their 30s and 40s now, who have their own kids, who, you know, they wanted to share those games with their kids. They wanted to relive the classics. But then there's that next generation. I grew up with the Nintendo, but for some reason, the Super Nintendo, I mean, it was just that natural progression, the Nintendo and then the Super Nintendo. And the Super Nintendo came out and just blew you away. You're like, holy crap. But, you know, there's just as many classics on both systems, but which ones have aged better? Which ones have aged better as far as, you know, have stood the test of time? Yeah, you can argue there's a lot of them for the original NES. Super Mario 1, you know, Contra, Ninja Gaiden, you know, all the Super Mario Brothers 3, all that stuff, all those games have stood the test of time. But then there's also a lot of original NES games that kind of didn't. You know, in my opinion, you know, like the Atari 2600 that, you know, people are talking about. The 2600, there's nostalgia there, but a lot of those games have not stood the test of time. They were simple. They were early on in the, you know, in the video game industry, you know, home consoles and whatnot. So a lot of those Atari games do not stand the test of time. They hit it with people who grew up with it, just like the NES Classic. But when you really look at it, the Super Nintendo, especially the games listed on this on this release, those games could stand as single releases today. You look at all the indie games that are coming out that are in the style of, you know, 16-bit era graphics, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis style graphics. I think these games that are listed on the Super Nintendo Classic Edition, if they were not released in the mid 90s, they could be released today on Steam or as an indie game on the Switch, anything like that. And I think these games would you know, they probably wouldn't do as great as they did back in the 90s, but they would still be relevant and still make sales today. So I think the Super Nintendo Classic is going to really hit it with a lot more people this time around. Yeah, I really hope, Joel, that they, you know, scalpers are going to scalp anything. These guys they already got their whiteboards up and their maps and all their sniping software ready to go. So they got their sniping software ready to go. They got their maps, the geographic maps of their areas ready. They got all their kids, everybody. They're going through the game plan now to go scalp every single one of the, you know, go scoop up all these Super Nintendo Classics in 3 months. They're already planning it right now. So no matter how many Nintendo makes, if it's an artificial scarcity or if they produce, let's say, double or triple what they did with the NES and the original, you know, shipments, I still feel they're going to be just as hard to get. A Mega Drive Classic Edition would be awesome, but, you know, they have AtGames making all their, you know, it's licensed out to them, so they're the ones who are releasing that kind of thing, and it's a shame because, you know, Nintendo, you know, they're a hardware producer. They produce this kind of stuff, so they have manufacturers ready to go. Sega, on the other hand, they're not into that, so, you know, they license it out to these other companies. Can you already pre-order it? From what I'm hearing, Neon, if you're in the UK, you can go to Game and throw down on a pre-order. But in the US and in Canada, I don't know. I don't think so. I've looked. There's nothing available yet. But I'm sure, you know, there'll be an announcement pretty soon. Hopefully. You know, Amazon is usually okay with that. GameStop, you know, they'll give you like, hey, we're going to start taking pre-orders on this day at this time, that kind of thing. So keep an eye out. A good place to keep up to date on information is going to be this website that I'm throwing into the chat. Keep tabs on that if you don't already use Now in Stock. Now in Stock is an awesome place to go to keep tabs on releases. But definitely keep tabs on that website, nowinstock.net, and then go to video gaming consoles and keep an eye out for that. Mega Drive Classic was out there once, but they're all those third-party licensed games, you know, or not licensed games, but company that, you know, Sega's licensed all that stuff to. And the quality's never, you know, in my opinion, it's not there. I have a lot of those AT or AtGame systems. Not so much. The NES Classic was a well-designed system. Looks awesome. Controllers are original, other than the cable that's like this long. You know, you got to be like right up on top of your TV to play. Hopefully with the Super Nintendo they fix that. I'm really hoping. But definitely, let's all get in line. Let's keep tabs on Now in Stock. I don't, you know, it's not that I'm promoting Now in Stock. I get nothing from those guys, but it is a good resource to keep tabs on when something's available, when it's in stock. You know, the comment sections attached to those systems and whatnot, you find a lot of good information out there. So definitely keep tabs with Now in Stock to see when this, you know, is released, or if you don't get in on like the first pre-orders. Don't know for sure when those first pre-orders are going to be out, but take a look at that website. Keep on your game. I'm going to definitely try to get one. Hopefully I can get one. You know, I'm not greedy. You know, I know I told the story with the NES Classic where Walmart down the street from me said, hey, we're releasing them at 8 in the morning, but then they wound up selling like half of them at midnight. And then, you know, get there at 8 in the morning and they're like, no, we only have this many. It's like, what the heck? Go to GameStop. There's only, I think, 1 or 2 people in line. I get in line. You know, I have my kids with me because they were out of school that day. This guy that was, I think he was either in front of me or behind me, freaking his daughter, his brother, his wife and girlfriend, and, you know, all these crazy people show up, and they all have an NES Classic, and they're all like this. You know, they're all like, oh, look, we got these at Walmart. Yay. Every single one of these jerks. The whole family, each one of them, the little tiny kids. Oh, yeah, we got one. Look. So then the dude in line is like, well, get in line. They're going to buy each one. They're going to buy another one in GameStop. GameStop was only getting 11 of them. I called them the day before. They said, we have 11 of them in stock. So you know they received 12 and the manager kept one. But they had 11. And this fool is bringing all his kids and everybody. So then they agreed, no, go to the back of the line. You ain't cutting in front of me. You ain't bringing your 12 and a half freaking kids and wives and girlfriends and boyfriends and brothers and aunts in front of me. Screw that noise. You're cutting me out of getting a Nintendo. They all get in the back of the line. I don't know if they all got one, but I thought that was nonsense. That was definitely a, hey, you even heard them in line. Oh man, I already see these going for $300 on eBay. I see them, somebody sold one for $500. And yeah, Damon, that's exactly what my GameStop had. 11 systems and 1 controller. I think I got lucky and I got an extra controller off of Amazon, either Amazon or Walmart.com. But I just couldn't believe these people. I wish Nintendo would have announced it today and then tomorrow we could go pick them up, because I don't like 3 months. And I know myself, 3 months of a wait, I'm going to think about this damn thing every day. And I'm going to stress about it. The closer and closer it gets, I'm going to stress more and more and more, because I'm not going to know if I'm going to be able to get one. I don't know if these fools are going to do the same thing they did last time. That's the scary thing. It gets me very anxious. But Damon, that was in Massachusetts. Yeah, for me, I'm in California, but probably very similar situation. But God, these people, man, it was nonsense, because back to the NES Classic, when all these people were lining up, it sucked because, I'm not necessarily one that like feels bad because you couldn't get a video game. But there were mothers and their little kids, like, not little, but 12-year-old, 14-year-old, 8-year-old, little, youngsters. They weren't coming obviously to scalp these things. They were coming because the kid wanted to play Super Mario Brothers. Like their dad had to, just their dad or mom had grew up with it, and the kids were exposed to it and they wanted it. There were so many mothers and fathers coming with their little kids to buy one. We had to just tell them, hey, they only have 11, and there's already like 20 people in line. So it's kind of messed up. A lot of people got turned away because of this one family who wanted to come and scoop them up. Like they each needed 2 systems each. A bunch of jerks, man. It was nonsense. It was nonsense. I hope they all got like defective systems, and the people who bought them from them got pissed off and went back to their house. Tyler, I appreciate that, man. When will they start the pre-orders? We don't know. Damon, you managed to get one used this weekend for $80. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome for sure. But for those of you who have just joined us, I'm going to go over real quick. Once again, the list of games, all the information. I'm going to go over this real quick before I end the stream, but I just thought this was awesome news. Super Nintendo Classic Edition confirmed to be released September 29th for $79.99. Will come with 2 controllers, your power cable, your HDMI cable, awesome stuff. It's coming with 21 games this time. The 21 games though, and the gamepads are wired. I'm not 100% how those are plugging in, because when you really look at the front of this, the ports look like original Super Nintendo ports. So I don't know if they did some proprietary thing or if they're going to have like Wii cables on the side. I haven't been able to see any information on that, but that definitely could be interesting. But here's the list of games one more time. We got Contra 3, Donkey Kong Country 1, the first one, Earthbound, what? Final Fantasy 3, oh my god, amazing. F-Zero, Kirby Superstar, Kirby's Dream Course, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, just the greatest Legend of Zelda in my opinion. Mega Man X, the first one, Secret of Mana, Star Fox 2, never released, Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting, what? Super Castlevania IV, awesome game. Awesome game. Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario RPG, Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Super Punch-Out, and Yoshi's Island. The super is strong with this one, guys. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games with the word super in it. So this is going to be super amazing. Awesome, awesome, awesome set of games, in my opinion. Very awesome. Gonna have to deal with those scalpers. There's no way around it. Sure, there will be a way to hack it. Of course, people are gonna figure that out almost immediately. So September 29th, Bad Boy is dropping for $79.99. Some awesome games. Never released Star Fox 2. That's awesome. I wish, like I said a few minutes ago, I wish they would have announced it today and then it was available to buy like Friday or tomorrow or something. I don't want to have this anxiety and stress building up for 3 months of not knowing if I'm going to have to punch somebody to get one of these. I don't know, I'm going to have to fight somebody's mother because I'm the next one in line and I'm getting the last one and this lady wants to, you know, scratch my face or something. I don't like thinking about. I suffer from video game anxiety and stress and depression when something is being released, especially a system, and the build up to it. Even if I pre-order, if it was available and I got the first pre-order right now, I would still have the same level of anxiety and stress because I've always felt that way. Like I remember pre-ordering the Wii, the original Wii, even like the GameCube and everything, you know, all that stuff. But I remember pre-ordering the Wii from Game Crazy. And I would go there every few days building up to the system being released. Hey, what number am I on the pre-order? Oh, you're number 1. You're the first one on the pre-order list. Well, how many are you getting? Am I guaranteed to get one? They would have to, you're okay, you're going to get one. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But I suffer from that. I don't suffer from that for anything else in my life. But when it comes to video games and releases, I suffer from this anxiety, even knowing right now, if I had one pre-ordered, it would still be just a horrible experience for the next 3 months. I would think about it nonstop. And it would drive me nuts. And this is going to drive me nuts. I freaking hate it. I almost wish this wasn't announced today. But like I said, I wish it was announced today and then released this week so I wouldn't have to you know, stress about it. But that's where we're at. Really appreciate you guys jumping in, checking out the video, and you know, smashing that like button. You guys got to smash that like button for me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it wouldn't be so bad if they would make enough to meet demand, but hey, it is what it is, guys. We don't know. But I just wanted to share this news with you guys. Went over the game list a couple times. What's included, the price, $79.99, comes out September 29th. Can't wait. I'm going to be stressing it until that day comes and I have one in my hands. So with that said, smash that like button, please. I would really appreciate that. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And I hope you guys have a great day and a stress-free 3 months until this is released if this is something that you want to go get. Peace. Appreciate it, guys. Boom.